Today we'll be going over exercise 7.16, append. The question reads, write a method called append that accepts two integer arrays as parameters and returns a new array that contains the result of appending the second array's values at the end of the first array. For example, if arrays list1 and list2 store 2, 4, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 respectively, the call of append with parameters list1 and list2 should return a new array containing 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the call instead had been append with parameters list2 and list1, the method would return an array containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6. So for this problem, we are essentially asked to combine two different arrays in the order that is provided to us. So, of course, as always, let's start with our usual method header, so public, static, and because we are returning an integer array, which is basically two different integer arrays combined, our return type is going to be an integer array. And for our name, of course, we can just use the problem name append. And we're also going to use the same parameter names that the problems used. So list1 and list2 for our two different integer arrays respectively. We're also going to go ahead and initialize our result array right here. And this result array is actually going to have a different length from list1 or list2, and that's because it kind of serves as the combination of both of them. And so that's exactly what we're going to do here. The length of our result array is just going to be the length of our list1 combined with the length of our list2. From here, it's a simple matter of adding all the elements of list1 into list2. So let's go ahead and do that. I equals 0. I is less than list1 dot length, right? Because we want to include all of the numbers from list1. And we're going to go ahead and initialize each element in result. Great. Our next step is to add all the elements from list2 to result. Now this is a little bit more tricky because of the indexes. So let me actually go ahead and write out our for loop right now. And some of the keen-eyed amongst you might be able to spot what I am doing wrong here. Let me actually go ahead and copy paste the previous for loop because it should be the exact same format. Now, if I do this, what's wrong? Well, those list1 elements that we just copied over are actually going to be written over with these new elements from list2, which can be a problem. So we kind of need to adjust the indexes here. So for instance, instead of starting at 0, we're actually going to start at the end of list1. And where would that be? Well, it's probably going to be at the length of list1 because that's where the end is going to be. So we're going to go ahead, start it at length 1. Now, where is it going to go up to? Well, it's not going to go just up to list2 because as you can see in these previous examples, sometimes list2 may actually be shorter than list1. So if you kind of think about it for a bit, you'll realize that the ending index is going to be the sum of list1 and list2. So let's go ahead and write that in. And now we run into yet another dilemma. Now, we adjusted all the indexes so that it fits our result, right? But it doesn't fit our list2, right? Because there's a very solid chance that whenever we're looking at these two, sometimes either in between list1.length or list1.length plus list2.length, we're gonna run into an index in which list 2 is undefined. So basically, result needs to continue on from the index where list 1 left off, whereas list 2 actually needs to start all the way back from 0. And how do we start back from 0 when we're starting from list 1.length? Well, of course, you can just subtract list 1.length. Now, once you've added those lists in, it's just a simple matter of returning the result. And if we submit, you'll notice that we pass all of our tests.